Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to DIY Art Plus. So today I'm gonna paint on a canvas, and this is a new canvas actually. I know that so many of you told me that why am I painting on the old canvas. So today I'm gonna paint my new canvas. Okay, so yeah, I just have this habit. If I don't like any painting, I just kind of you know, just paint over it, or maybe just add a little white on top and then paint over it. So let's open this. So I'm gonna paint. So spring is almost coming, right? So I thought let's paint some more flowers. As you know, I love flowers, so I'm gonna paint some flowers today. Now for this painting I'm gonna use these colors again. I always like to mention this is you don't have to use the same color. You can just use any color you like. It doesn't have to be same shade. You can maybe use darker blue, maybe darker green, maybe lighter purple if you like, you know. So here, these are the color I'm gonna use: white, yellow, this is light green, but you can again use dark green if you like, maybe like this, blue, black, and purple. These are the color I'm gonna use. All right, now for this I'm gonna use maybe 3 brushes. So these 2, and my favorite brush is right here, black one, I mean pointy one. Okay, so this is my favorite brush. I use this on my every single painting. So this is number 0, just in case if you like to know. And this is just a random brush. I don't even see the number here, but this is the round brush, and this is flat brush. So these are the brushes I'm gonna use. And I'm also gonna use this sea sponges. If you don't have sea sponges, you can also grab your dishwashing brush, I mean sponge if you like, why not. And yeah, I'm gonna use these, but I'm pretty sure you can find this at any painting store. Okay, so now here I'm gonna work on the background as I always do. So if you like to follow me, you can also paint with me if you like. Alright, so make sure you grab a cup of water so you can clean your brushes there. Alright, so for this painting I'm gonna use my biggest flat brush for the background. Okay, so first thing I want to do for this painting is I want to tape the edges. So let me do that very quickly, and I will be back. Okay, so here I already taped this. Now because I'm using this tape, I'm not gonna use a lot of water for this part, for this painting. Okay, so here I'm gonna use my big brush, and I'm just gonna dip it in my water before I take any color. And just because I don't want to use too much water, I'm just gonna, you know, dry that extra water. And now I'm gonna take some blue. So on one side of my brush, I'm gonna take a little bit of white, and on the other side of my brush, I'm just gonna take a little bit blue. Okay, so here I'm just gonna start applying this color from top of my canvas, and I'm just gonna go very slow. I don't wanna rush. Okay, so I'm not going on my edges, not for now. I'm gonna go on the edges at the end because I don't want my paint to bleed through this tape. So because I have a lot of paint on my brush, and it's gonna bleed through that tape if you use a lot of paint on that tape. At least that's what happened to me, but all the brushes, I mean all the tapes are different, you know. My tape is not that good. So as you can see, some area is darker, some area is lighter. So which is best thing for this painting, because I don't want just one color on my painting. Now you can use again any color you like. You don't have to use a blue color here. You can say maybe this is a sky, but I'm gonna add some flowers here, and think like you put the flower in a room somewhere, and this is the color of a wall maybe, right? So you can use a different color too. I'm not gonna make it too dark. Okay, so now I'm almost out of paint on my brush, so now I'm gonna go on the edges and very slow like that. Maybe I'm gonna take a little bit white on this corner. If you feel like it's hard to apply this color on the edges, you can just take a little bit of white, not too much. Do you see it's teeny tiny little white, and then I'm just gonna go on the edges. Now it's okay if you still like if your paint still bleed through this white. You don't have to do something like this. You can do it just without the tape. I just want to make it something different this time, because I always paint the whole canvas, and this time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep a little space and see how that looks, because I never did this before. I mean, I did it with mostly with the paper, like a watercolor paper, but not on a canvas. So let's see how this goes. So I always like to do some new things every time I paint, because it just makes me, I don't know. Okay, so here I'm done applying this color, and I'm just gonna smooth out all of my brush strokes. So I'm just gonna go left and right like this. Do you see the difference between this area and this area? It just makes it look more even, I guess. So that's why I'm just gonna do this on my whole canvas. Okay. Alright, now I'm gonna let this dry a little bit, because before I add actually, it's okay, but if you like to let it dry, you can. I'm just not gonna let it dry. Now I'm gonna add some flowers. Okay, so before I add flower, here is my plan. I'm gonna add a little jar down here, and then flowers coming from the jar. There's a flower in jar. So I'm gonna use my small brush, tiny little brush, and then I'm just gonna add a little jar here. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use white color. Okay, so I'm not taking any water. I don't want to use any water because my paint is already thin. But if you are using a paint that is thicker, you can just take a little bit of water and mix it with your water a little bit on the side of your plate, and then you can use that. But as you can see, mine is like a watery paint here. Okay, so that's why I'm not using any water. Now again, I'm gonna add a nice little jar. So think like you can also use a pencil if you like, or let it dry, use a pencil. If you don't like it, you can erase it. Okay, so here is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna leave a little space on both sides, and then I'm gonna add a little oval shape right here. And I'm just using tip of my brush. So something like this. You can also watch me first for the whole thing, and then you can do it, so you get more idea what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm just gonna go over one more time. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if you don't like it. The best part about using acrylic paint is let it dry, and you can apply any color you like on top, or you can just use a piece of paper, and you can just wipe it. Just as easy as I mean, you know what I mean. Okay. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the bottom of the jar. So now what I like to do, this jar is slightly a little bit different, so I'm gonna start adding a little curve line. So maybe from here going in and out, and then blur down, something like that. Okay, same thing on the other side. Now I cannot ever make both of the sides same, not for jar, not for anything. So it's okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. and then same thing. Okay, I think I like that. Okay, so now that's all I'm gonna do. That's all I'm gonna do for this jar. Now I'm gonna start adding my flower. Okay, so I'm gonna clean my brush, and then I'm gonna add some stems of this flower. So now I'm gonna add maybe like maybe 4 flower. So maybe one is going this way, couple is going up, one is going down, maybe right here. Okay, so I'm also gonna add maybe a butterfly here. I'm not sure, but let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna use this green. Now this painting is super simple, trust me guys. You can also paint this. If you never paint before, you can follow me, because I'm also not sure what I'm doing here. I just have a little idea what I want to do, and I'm just gonna go for it. Again, you don't have to do same thing like what I'm doing. You can just maybe add a jar in the center here and then add flower. I mean, you can do it that way too. Why not? Okay, so here let me start adding some stems. So first I'm just gonna add a straight one, so maybe one right here, and I'm just gonna go in my jar and all the way down here. Okay, now I made that line straight. Doesn't have to be straight. And then I'm just gonna add another one, maybe right here. You can also use a darker green if you like, but I'm just gonna start with the light green because my background is light. If I don't like it, I can just easily hide this color by adding more white and blue on top, or maybe just clean it with the paper towel. And I'm gonna add the next one, maybe right here. Okay, I'm not gonna come all the way down because I don't want to make this area too dark. And the last one, maybe right here. Okay, I like that. All right, so now it's a fun time, and what I mean is I'm gonna use these sponges. Now you can use any type of sponges if you like, but I like to use this type of sponges because it gives more textures. Okay, so I'm just gonna wet this just maybe a little bit. Okay, take all the waters out. Okay, so now this area is nice and spongy, and this area is like hard, so it's easy for me to hold, so that's why I didn't wet the whole thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna start with the darker color, and I'm just gonna use this purple, and as you can see, I'm just gonna cover just maybe a little bit of this sponge, and then I'm gonna go on the side of my plate, and then I'm gonna dab like that. Okay, so something like that, and this is what I'm gonna do on my canvas. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this flower here. Now the flower is gonna be a little bit pointy on the tip, and then as I'm gonna add more, it's gonna be a little bit more wider. So I always like to say this is start with the very last of small of this. Just start making a small flower at first, and then make it bigger if you feel like. Okay, so I'm gonna start from bottom, and then I'm gonna dab, and then I'm gonna go on the tip like that. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more, so always take little by little, don't take too much. Okay, so I'm gonna go on the tip. Okay, that's all I'm gonna add because I'm gonna add other colors here, so I don't want to add too many. I don't want to make it too thick, not for now. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing for my other flowers. I'm just gonna start from tip because it's just easier for me. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that same thing for my all other flowers. You can also turn your canvas because I like to do that. Okay, same thing. Now this flower, I made it again so thin, but that's okay. You can always make it thicker, but start with this thin flower or maybe small flower. Okay, so same thing again. All right, I think I like that. Okay, I'm not gonna come all the way down because I want to also add some leaves here. So okay, that's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna add the next color, which is slightly a little bit lighter purple. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my round brush because it's just easier for me to grab, or you can use any brush you have you want to. And if you don't have this kind of sponges, you can also use a round brush and just make a little dabs. Okay, so here I'm gonna grab a little bit white, putting on side of my plate, and I'm gonna make it two. I'm gonna put it on two places. I'll show you why. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna do the same thing. Maybe I'm gonna go one more time with the purple, just a plain purple on this flower. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna do the same thing with the lighter purple. Now I'm gonna take a little bit white from here, and then I'm just gonna, you can also use maybe a brush and mix your color, but I'm just gonna do it this way. Okay, the lighter you want, the darker you want, it's up to you, as long as it's slightly different shade than what we used before, you are good. Okay, so here I'm gonna use this color, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this color on only on one side of the flower. So let's say the light is coming from this way, so I'm gonna add this color maybe here. So let's start with that, something like that. Okay, you can say this is a shadow of this flower, and then I'm also gonna add this color on this flower on top of this area, and this side is the shadow. So something like this. Okay, and same thing for this flower. I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna hold my brush, my sponge like this, so that it's just gonna be so much easier to add this color this way, so that you don't apply too much that way. Okay, you can also use a pink color if you like, lighter kind of a pink, that's a good color. Okay, now same thing for this flower, but on the top. At any point, if you feel like you've added, make it too light, you can always go back and add more purple. Why not? Okay. The more you do, the more you're gonna do better. So I think the last one that I did, I think that's my favorite one. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna go back and add more purple on just maybe one flower, maybe right here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so now I'm gonna just add white. Now I'm gonna clean my sponge. Okay, use maybe a sponge, paper towel or something, and dry that. Okay, all right, so now again I'm just gonna do the same thing. Now my whole sponge is so wet, it's just gonna be slightly a bit hard to hold. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of area, and I'm gonna use just maybe this much of area, and I'm just gonna use this white. Okay, so that's why I told you, put a little bit of white on the side, it will be easier, because what's gonna happen is we're gonna grab some purple from here, and then we're gonna dip the purple on this white, and this white is gonna be whole purple, like purple. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the same thing like I did with the lighter purple. Okay, so I'm just gonna start from top, just maybe lightly dabbing on top and adding some dab like that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. It's completely up to you, like, you know how much you want to add this white. I don't want to add too much, but I don't want to add too less. Okay, same thing for this one. I hope you can see that. I didn't even realize that. Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, trust the process, okay? Alright, so now I'm gonna clean this. Make sure you clean your sponges if you are using it as you go, because I did this so many times where I just leave this sponge with the paint on it and it just dry. The whole sponge dry with that color, and you won't be able to use this sponge again. So as you can see, I have some black, it's all dried, so this area is super thick. So that's why I always clean my brush. Okay, so make sure you take your time, clean your brush. Okay, so now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some leaves, and this time I'm gonna mix the blue and green together. Okay, so I'm gonna use my small brush, and here is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit light green and a little bit of blue. As you can see, I don't use much of paint here. I know some of you comment that, because I just don't feel like I need more paint, you know. I don't want to waste much paint. Okay, so I mix my green and the blue to make it darker green, because I run out of my regular green, so that's why I'm not using my regular green. Yeah, I run out of my green, so I don't have any more green. But if you have this color, you can just use the directly green color if you want. Okay, so here's the color I'm gonna use, and maybe I'm gonna add some leaf, maybe one right here. Oopsie, wrong one. Okay. Maybe. Okay, I'm also gonna go on this stamp and make this more darker. Now I'm not gonna make all of the stamp darker, just maybe, you know, some. I also want to add a stamp that's coming from maybe on this side, so that the jar looks kind of full. Okay, so I think I like that. Maybe I'm gonna stop right here, and then I'm just gonna let this dry before we add more white on this jar. I'll show you how I do that, but for now I'm gonna add a nice little butterfly. And for this part, actually I'm gonna use a pencil, because I'm not so comfortable drawing a butterfly without the outline. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna add a butterfly right here, and maybe let's say it's sitting on this flower maybe. Okay, so here is what I'm gonna do is maybe let me grab a piece of paper, and we're gonna maybe try drawing that on piece of paper and see if we like it. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. Okay, never mind, don't worry about that. So you know how the butterfly looks like, right? There is a little shape of this little body, so I'm just gonna add like a little line, you can see, like that. Nice little legs down here. I feel like sometimes it looks so creepy, but it's at the same time it's beautiful, right? So okay, so the top of the wing I'm gonna add, so maybe I'm gonna start from maybe right here. Gonna go up and I'm gonna do something like this. I'm gonna go in the middle. Okay, and same thing on the bottom. Let's see, maybe like that. Okay, so this is the one side of the butterfly, and I'm also gonna add the other side. I mean, the one side of the wings area, and the other side I'm gonna add is on the behind. So maybe something like that, but a little smaller than the first one that we had. Okay, so something like this. I hope you can see that. So whatever I do on my painting, I like to just, you know, practice maybe a couple times on a piece of paper, so that it just makes it so much easier. Okay, now I draw this so small, but I'm gonna paint this a little bit bigger because I have enough space to add big butterfly. So I'm gonna start with the white color, because if I don't like it, I can always cover it with the little bit blue on top, right? So here I'm gonna take just a white, and I'm gonna do the same thing like we did on this paper. Okay, so let's see, maybe I'm gonna add a little kind of little diagonal line here for the body. Nice big butterfly. Remember, I'm gonna add big butterfly. That's good enough. That's big enough, I think. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the wings. Maybe I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. I need to, I think. As I'm going, I'm also gonna fill everything inside like that. Should I make it a little bit more bigger? I guess. So I'm gonna make it a little bit more bigger. Okay, I think I like that. And same thing on the bottom. Okay, and I'm gonna also add another one, remember? So maybe I'm gonna start adding that from here. So since it's behind, I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller, not too big. Okay, now I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is make this, fix this a little bit, and I'm gonna add the head maybe right here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, you can let this dry if you like, but I'm just gonna go ahead and add the yellow color here. You're gonna use other color if you like, but I'm gonna use yellow. I'm just gonna cover the whole thing. So because we add white, you can use any color for the butterfly, so that it's so much easier to use just any color and go over the white. It's okay, I lied because I said I'm only gonna use these colors, but I'm gonna use one more color here. Okay, so the next color I'm gonna use is maybe a red or maybe orange, one of that color. And we can just add that color here. That is so beautiful already. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab red color. Okay, that's good enough. I don't use a lot of paint, I know that. You don't need a lot. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix this red, just a tiny bit of red and some yellow. This is beautiful orange. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do the outline, you can say, maybe for this little area. So maybe you can also let this dry, because sometimes it's hard to just add paint on paint when it's like, you know, still wet. So I'm just gonna still just go for it. Okay, I'm just adding some line coming from this area. Okay, same thing I'm gonna do down here. Okay, same thing on the edges a little bit. And also the tip. Okay, same thing I'm gonna do for this side. And I'm gonna keep this white because I like that little touch of highlight, but if you hide that, it's okay, we can always add more on top, because I'm gonna add some black here, and I'm gonna hide this anyway. So I'm not really touching this area because I want to separate these two areas, right? So I'm not going to touch that for now. So I'm going to let this dry before I add any color there. Now I'm going to start adding this white on this area. So I clean my brush and I'm just going to grab a little white. Okay, so I'm not going to go over these leaves because it's coming out of the jar, if that makes sense. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a white here. Oopsie, I grab a lot of water, so that's why I said earlier is wipe your brush after you add too much water here. Okay, that's better. Okay, so one more time, I'm just gonna take a little bit white and I'm just gonna go over this stems but not the leaves. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the outline one more time to make it more darker. Okay, so I'm also gonna add some white, maybe something like that, going over my Okay, I don't want to completely cover this with the white, so that's all I'm gonna do. Now, just to make it more just to also add a little bit of shadows, I'm also gonna add a little bit of black here. Okay, I destroyed my jar, but it's okay. Okay, so I clean my brush, a little bit of black, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little black here. Now I'm also gonna make this kind of little gray, because when the white and black mix, it becomes gray, right? Turn gray. So not to worry about if it's turning gray, because that's how I want to make it. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some white on my leaves. So just a little bit of white. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of black. Just using maybe tip of my brush. Okay, so now I'm gonna start adding some black on my butterfly. So now if you don't want to use a brush and acrylic paint, you can also use maybe a dark black Sharpie if you like. Why not? Right, so for that, make sure you let this whole thing dry. Okay, so I'm just gonna turn my canvas because it just, you know, it's easier for me. And then I'm just gonna take my, so make sure you don't have any water this time, okay? Don't do it like I did before. And then I'm just gonna take a little black, and I'm just gonna go over this body of my butterfly. And it's okay if you grab some yellow or the white. It's okay, you don't need one color there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna basically do the outline, but not a clean outline. Sorry, I can't talk when I do the outline. Okay, so I'm also gonna add some more colors. So let me connect this area. So what I like to do is add some more black. So what I like to do is just add some lines coming from this corner, some more black lines coming from here. Make this area more darker. Okay, same thing down here. Same thing on this corner down here. Just like to make the bottom of the wings more darker. Yeah, I just like to turn my canvas. Barely touching my canvas for this part. Okay, same thing for this one here. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna add the antenna. So again, you can use you can use a Sharpie if you like. Okay, so now the antenna, I'm just gonna use like tiny little tip of this brush. So one line maybe here. I like to make it a little big, you know. Okay, there is one more. That is so cute. Okay, so I'm gonna make the body of this butterfly more darker and make it more thicker, because I like to make it more thicker. That's better. Okay, so now I'm also gonna add like tiny little legs, feet. So just gonna add like 4 lines. So something like this. Okay, now it's not even sitting on this flower. I know that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix that by adding some more dots there. And you can use sponge if you like. I'm just gonna use my brush because it's just easier, I guess. So I'm gonna use the lighter purple first. Okay, and then just gonna add some dots like that. And also what I'm gonna do is make this flower more little pointier by adding some dots like that on tip. Don't really need it, but I'm just gonna do it still. Okay, again, you don't have to do this. I just feel like I want to do it. This is like going all the way to the edges. It's okay. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna do the same thing with some white. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and add more dots. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the purple. I mean, it's just, you can't really see that, so that's okay. Maybe I'm gonna add more down here. Alright, I'm gonna just clean my brush. I'm also gonna add a little bit of black on this flower, just to add some more shadows, you can say. So I'm just gonna take some black and just kind of add some dots like that. Just on the purple area, not on the any other area. Just on the purple, and mostly on the bottom, not going all the way to the tip. Should I add more butterfly? I think I don't want to add more butterfly. But yeah, you can add more butterfly if you like. Okay, so that's good. Now I'm just gonna also add some something like, you know, some dots, you can say. Okay, so here I'm just gonna take this white and you know what I'm trying to do is add something like this, like dots, but you know, something like that. So I'm gonna follow this kind of a shape and add dots. You know how they leave the little trail when they fly, if that makes sense. So something like that. Okay, I'm also gonna add a kind of little glow. So just a little white. You can also use your finger. So now I know it looks darker, but when it's dry, it's gonna be super light. So I'm just gonna use my brush, because remember I said my paint is so thin. It's not thick. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little kind of swirls. Okay, so now I'm also gonna add some dot using other colors because I just want to, you know. So I'm gonna use some yellow, and I'm just gonna add like just very random dots. Okay, let me move this, like maybe just 3 or 4 dots here. Random spot again, some dots maybe down here. So whenever I paint something like this, I don't know if you notice or not, but I just like to add some kind of a dot. It just makes it looks the painting finish, I guess. It's my thought, but you know, it's just how I see it. Okay, sometime I don't know when to stop, but I'm gonna stop here. Okay, so I'm gonna just put everything on the side, and let's peel this tape and see if it's bleed or not. So, oh no, it's good. I like that. Aw. Okay. like I never made this good painting before. I mean, the tape isn't that straight, but that's okay. I am so proud of myself that I did this. What do you think? Wow. Looks good. Okay, let me know what you think about this painting. I mean, I love this painting, and let me know in the comment what do you think, and let me know if you want me to try something new next time, and I love to. So yeah, here I'm all done, and yeah, what do you think? I love this painting. Oh, I forgot to do one more thing. Oh no. Okay, one more thing. Sorry. I'm gonna clean my brush. So sometimes what I feel like is if I step back a little bit, I realize that, okay, I'm missing this, but that's why I always say this is take a little break when you're painting, so you get more idea. Okay, so here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some more polka dots on my butterfly. So I'm just gonna use a black paint and just a little tip, just a little paint, I mean, and I'm just gonna add maybe some dot on my butterfly here. Something like that. Some maybe down here. You can also use different color if you like. And also some here. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush. And I'm also gonna add some white dots. So I'm gonna take a little white and just some dot on this black. Or actually, you know what? I'm just gonna add a little kind of a highlight, you can say, something like that. I think that's better. And also a little bit of highlight on the body of my butterfly. Okay, I think I like this one better. Okay, so yeah, that was the last part I was missing, trust me. Okay, so here I'm all done. And again, if you have any question, let me know. And yeah, thank you so much for painting with me. If you have again any question, let me know. And make sure you clean all of your brushes with some dish soap water so that you can use these brushes again, right? So yeah, I'm all done. Alright, so yeah, don't forget to subscribe and like my video if you enjoy painting with me. Alright, so yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you next time for another painting or maybe DIY. Okay, take care. Bye.